All right, we are live. I must apologize for the lateness of the hour. I know I scheduled this for 7. It is now 7:07. My bad. Let me just check and make sure I'm actually on. Hey, look, Albert Bellamy is live. Good. It's about dang time. So, um, yeah, due to circumstances today and some coaching sessions and all sorts of good stuff going on, I've not prepped for this at all. So, in case you haven't noticed, I also had to do the opening event of the CrossFit Open today because I believe in leaving things to the last minute. So I like cleaned up my office. I know you can't tell, so I've got kind of books stacked a little haphazardly, but I did clean it. And then I had to scoot off to the gym to knock out that heat of the CrossFit Open. And the reason why was because I totally misread the time. I saw that the score was due by 5 o'clock today, and I didn't read it properly, so I didn't realize it was 5 o'clock Pacific. So go me, having a great day. And the other reason I had to do it today was I actually did it on Thursday, I think. Uh, but I also didn't read the instructions, and I didn't realize that you have to videotape it and post it on YouTube and then send CrossFit the link to the video. So I did it in vain on Thursday, which actually worked out in my favor because then I got a better score today. I was kind of feeling much more motivated because I dashed out of here thinking I was running out of time because it was getting close to 5. Was not running out of time because it was not close to 5 Pacific. It was 5 Eastern time. So silly me, always thinking that life revolves around the Eastern Standard Time zone. It does not. Okay, let me find our friend Mr. Analyst on the YouTubes. So if you're following at home, first of all, I owe 20 push-ups from last time, so I will definitely pay up for that. But if you're following at home, we are on the last video of Mr. Analyst's. Here he is, Alex the Analyst. We are on the last video of his basic SQL series. So let's just bring that up. We don't even need to bring up the whole Data Analyst Boot Camp view full playlist. Yes. And we are on 4 of 4. So like I said, I'm making this quick. Let me cue through the ads since I refuse to pay for YouTube Premium anymore. Skip ads. There we go. Okay, there is Mr. Analyst. Let us add him. Present. Share screen. Opera tab. Mr. Analyst. Here we go. All righty, looking good. Alex has never looked better. So yeah, I owe 20 push-ups. This is the last of the basic series, but I am doing it sight unseen. As a matter of fact, I just pulled up SSMS. So let me pull up the databases expanding, SQL tutorial expanding, tables. All right, so let's do employee demographics, select top 1,000 rows. I know you can't see this, but I'm trying to minimize the clicking back and forth. I don't really know how to avoid that. So, okay, so we've got a base kind of select star query on both tables, and hey, we got a watcher. What's up? And so now we're just gonna queue up Alex, and I will just do the video sight unseen. We're gonna study group by order by today. Before we begin that, and I hope the viewer's down for this. Let's knock out 20 push-ups. All right, remind me to angle the camera next time. I don't want anybody to think I'm cheating on the push-ups. Okay. Yeah, if you don't know the backstory, my friend Matias Baudino challenged me to do 50 push-ups for every one of these bootcamp videos that Mr. Analyst did. And I have been remiss. Let me set the laptop up higher. That might help. Yeah, much better. Hold on. This is what happens when you do no show prep. Is you're doing all your tech work during the show. Okay, now I've got my good mouse. Winner. Alrighty, that is a big winner. Okay. And let's hit it. Mr. Analyst, what do you got?
My name is Alex Freberg, and in today's video, we're going to be going.
That's super loud. Here. Share system audio. That's what I knew. I forgot to check it. All right, now let's do it. One more time with feeling. Burn them. Some of these subtitles are hilarious. All right, let's go.
Of the group by and the order by statements. In previous videos, we
Buy like we're going to buy
tables.
something.
We went over the select, the from, and the where, and now we are at the very end of our SQL Basics series. If you stayed with us for the whole time, hopefully you have learned a lot and learned the basics of
I know
SQL.
I have.
In future videos, we're going to be going over intermediate and even more advanced concepts, and even going through portfolio projects that you can use to put on your resume. If you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe below, but let's get into it for today. The group by statement is similar to distinct in the select statement in that it's going to show the unique values in a column. The difference is if we say distinct gender, what's going to be returned is the
Are you even allowed to say that anymore?
unique value of female and the very first unique value of male. But if we say gender and we say group by gender.
Oh, come on.
A lot of people don't know this, but if you have the YouTube app on your phone, you could be using it to make.
It's only going to return two.
I really got to pay for premium again.
But in these two
bad.
values, we actually have all the males rolled up into this one row and all the females rolled up into this one row. Now, let me further show you what that means. If I say count of gender, now you can see that this whole time there were 6 males in this one row and there were 3 females in this one row. So with the distinct,
all right, so we're going to select the gender, count
value
gender
is in there that's unique.
from the demographics,
with the
group by gender.
It's showing us what the unique value is, but it's also rolling them all up into one column so that we can use it for other things.
All right, I'm going to pause them here because I'm going to show you something interesting. So we're going to select gender, we're going to count gender, and we're going to group by gender. Let me stop that. Then I will present. Why do you do this? For some reason, it doesn't like to show SQL Server Minute. There we go. Application window, sharing that. Cool. Okay. So we're in the salary query. We don't want that one. We want the demographics query. Okay. Just got to minimize that, put it on the side of my screen. Okay. So we want to select, we don't need top. That's just default query. Select gender. Let's just do it the same order he did, right? All right, what? Yeah, okay. Select gender from demographics, group by gender. Now run it. Okay, and it groups into female and male. Okay, so before we just had select gender and we had the whole gender. Okay, now we're grouping by gender. Okay. Okay, so we're selecting gender, and now we're selecting the count. Nope. Count of gender as well. Execute. There we go. Okay, so we got 3 female and 6 male, just like he did. Let me show you one thing that I don't think he goes over in this video. If he does, I'll eat my words. Because Alex is pretty much infallible, but this was Alex 3 years ago, so I don't know if he had reached like godlike status back then. Execute. Okay, so we're going to get an error here. And because I've got it on a half screen, you got to kind of scroll over, but column SQL tutorial blah, blah, blah is invalid. The select list because it's contained in either an aggregate function or the group by clause. If you have a count function or any kind of mathematical thing that's creating a new column, as we are here, you have to have it grouped by, right? And it makes sense because if you didn't have it grouped, how would you be able to count it? Okay, so I mean, let's look at it. Okay, so when we just did select gender from employee demographics, we got the whole list, like all of the employees, but it just showed us the gender column. So it was female, male, 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 female, male, et cetera, et cetera. You could not count that because there's nothing to count. You have one row per person. So if you're going to count, you must also group by, okay? And if you don't do that, you're always going to get that error. So it's got to be in an aggregate function, all right? Okay, just wanted to show you guys that before Alex continued talking. Let's stop on the SSMS. Let us present Alex again. And Mr. Analyst, take it away.
Now, real quick, I want to be able to see both of these at the same time. So let's just put this up here, and let's run this so we can actually see both. Now let's add age to this statement down here, or this query. And let's only run this one. And I want to show you what happens and why it happens. We're now looking at gender, age, and then the count of gender. So if we look down here, we only have one male who is 29. We have one male who is female, that's age 30, and so on and so forth. So none of these people are both the same gender and the same age. If, for example, we had 2 or 3 people who were male and who were 30 years old, then we would have a 2 or a 3 over here.
But again, what you'll notice is he's got to count gender, but it doesn't make sense unless you group by. Now what he's saying is the group by does not truncate the list because every gender age combo is unique. So all 9 people, what he's saying is there's no combinations. There's no 2 30-year-old males. If there was, it would roll up because of that gender. But if he did select gender, age, and count gender, it wouldn't work unless he also grouped by age. That was the point I made.
So this count is actually being counted at each row that's being returned. So for our data that we have today, this isn't a fantastic example because it really split it out. There were any that were the same, but as you can see, you can put multiple columns as long as you put multiple down here. Now, why did we not have to put this count gender down here in this group?
I believe he uses a somewhat more complex
count gender is actually
database
a derived field
for
or a
the
derived
intermediate
column. It's derived
videos.
based off the gender column. So it's technically not a real column that's in the table. It's one that we're creating that's fictional, per se.
I believe I said
so
that.
The age and the gender are actual fields or actual columns that are in our tables. They have to be down here. And like I said before, it's the comparison to that distinct in the select statement, because we're looking at the distinct of gender and age. So we're saying this.
All right, so he's been talking for a while. Let's do some push-ups. Matias, these are for you. I got 20 right there, so I didn't forget them all. All right, let's keep going. I'm not going to keep stopping and doing some of these. I think we can just kind of talk through some of them.
Distinct across multiple columns, both gender and age. Now, as we had it before, we were only looking at gender. It's going to roll all of those up into just male and female. But if we want to add more, we can easily add more. In this group by statement, we can still do things like where age is greater than 31. We can still do those things.
Remember the where
So
statement was in the
let's execute
previous
this, and
video.
our numbers are going to change. Now we're doing it based off gender, and we're looking at the count of people whose age is greater than 31, which is smaller than before.
This mistake is costing Amazon Prime shoppers big. Are you still using Prime? Because
now
Yep,
let's look at
I am.
order by. I'll do it down here really quick for demonstration, but I am eventually going to come up here and use it because I think it'll be a little bit better. To completely round out this query
Music.
down here, let me give this a name. Let's do count of gender. And then let's come down here and let's order by. Let's order by count gender. And when we run that, it's going to do 1, 3. And that's because as a default, SQL has an ascending feature, which is going to be smallest to largest going down. If we want to change that, we can change
The
it
opposite
to
is descending.
That's going to be largest to smallest.
Yeah.
So now we have 3, 1. And if we want to do it based off gender, and we do it descending,
After
now
this,
we have
we'll
Z to
copy
A.
along.
And so that's going to be male, female. And if we get rid of that, it's going to do the default ascending. And let's see what that brings. Female, male. Now,
all right, let's copy what he did. Don't want to do that. Stop that. Present. All right, I'm going to side by side him with me. Okay, so I'm going to select gender, count gender as count gender. So right now it says no column name. So let's run that. Just make sure that name comes up. Good. Count gender. We got it. Okay. From the employee demographics, and he put in a where clause. So let's copy that where clause. Where age is greater than 31. And we want to include the age column. No, we can't. Yeah, execute that. And we got 1 and 3. Group by gender. Now we want to order by, if I could type, order by gender. Now we execute, and like you said, the ascending or ASC, if you want to specify it, is the default. If you want to do something else, you can put in descending, you execute it, and then it's 3-1. Okay. All right. Let's let us stop that screen, present Alex again, and continue. Mr. Analyst, if you would, please.
for what we're trying to do, let's look at this large table. So I think it's going to be a little bit more descriptive or a little bit better visually. Let's do order by, and let's do age. Let's run this, and it's going to order smallest to largest.
He says large table, 9
If
rows and 4 columns, 5
we do
columns.
descending, it's going to do largest to smallest. Now, you don't only have to do just one thing. You can do multiple columns. So if I wanted to do age and then gender, I can do that as well. So let's do gender. And let's run that. So now we have the age, but under the age, we also have it ordered by female, and that's in ascending order. So A, B, C, D, E, F. So females first. So it's going to be female first, and then it's going to be male. And again, female and male. Now, we don't have to just let it be ascending for each one. If I wanted to do it reverse in this column, I can do descending. Now let's run that. And when we have 30, now male is first and female is second.
Yeah. So he's ordering the
And if I wanted to
gender
do that
by
over
descending
here,
and
I
the
can do
age by
descending.
ascending.
And now we have them both descending. So it's going to go top
So you have to
bottom,
specify if you
and
want
when
it
we have
descending.
32, it's going to be male, 32 female. So you can specify lots of different things in here, and we don't actually.
All right, let's do some push-ups, kids. All right, 20 more. So we only owe 10 at the end of the video. Let's kill it.
Have to use column names. We could just use numbers. So if I wanted to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I could. But let's try to replicate the exact same thing before. This would be column 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do where
Keep forgetting
4
when I put my
descending,
cursor on it, it makes
and then
those
let's do
closed captions go
5
up top.
descending. And if we execute that, it's going to give us the exact same result as if we'd actually put in the column name. And I do use this a lot. Oftentimes I don't use the column name. I just, if it's a small table, I'll just use the number. So in my actual queries, I do this a lot where I just use the number instead of the column name. So that is the group by and the order by statement. And if you have walked through my
Best use
previous
if your
videos, you
database
should be
doesn't
completely done with the basics of
change
SQL. So
much.
congratulations. The next thing to do is really just practice the basics, because the basics are what you're going to be using day in, day out. And so what I would recommend is create a few more tables, query those.
All right, let's copy what he's done so far, do 10 push-ups, and then we will be done. I will stop that screen. Change this. Okay, so what did he do? He went back to select star. So he saved. I don't feel the need to save. So select star. Yeah, okay. So we can't group by because we're not grouping anything. So execute that. Where age is over is 31. Okay. We also want to get rid of our where clause. So, okay, cool. So we're selecting all of them. We're ordering by gender descending. Now, let's do order by age descending. Execute that. That's a little more dramatic. Obviously, the genders are only within, within the ages. So, yeah, you order by age descending. And then if we want to do gender as well, and let's do just default gender. Okay, so sort of by age descending, you can see 33, 32. Meredith and Toby are the same age, strangely enough. And so that defaults to ascending. Female comes before male. We don't like that. We want Toby to come first. So we're going to do descending. And now, sure enough, Toby Flenderson is ahead of Meredith Palmer in the order there. Okay. And then the last thing he did was he changed these, instead of the column names, he changed them to the column order. So age is 1, 2, 3, fourth column. Gender is the fifth column. So let's change that to 5, make sure it still works. And it still does. We get the same thing. It's just, let's undescend that one. Just make sure it flips the other way. Sure enough, look at that. Dwight Schrute, the youngest in the office. I guess I don't have Ryan on here. Yeah, Ryan would be younger. Anyway, okay. Move that back over, stop that screen. Let's give you the last little snippet of Mr. Analyst. We're sharing.
Tables, try to think of use cases and what you would actually want to know from that information. After that, I would move on to my intermediate videos if those are already out, and then I would move on to my advanced videos. Those are going to go over some more challenging topics,
And we
but
will.
things that would be very useful for anybody to know. In my next video, I'm going to be going over intermediate SQL topics, things like joins and subqueries, and a ton more. So if I already have
Joins and
posted those,
subqueries
be
are
sure
awesome.
to go check those out on my page.
He has already posted
And
them.
if I haven't, I
like
hope to have
3
those
years
up
ago.
soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you learned anything in this Basics of SQL series, be sure to subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next video.
See you in the next video, Mr. Analyst. All right, let's make sure we like this. We did. Okay, cool. Okay, let me stop that screen. Close out Senior Analyst. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I hope you're doing some push-ups, getting stronger, getting smarter, and harder. We have 10 more to go, so let me knock those out. Sooner or later, I'm gonna bring a speaker in here. I'll play some Rocky music or something for you while I'm doing this. But all righty, 1 second. All right, that is a productive evening. We have made another video. We have copied Mr. Analyst. We've done 50 push-ups. Life is good. So, hey, if you like this content, give me a like, give me a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're up over 250. We got 253 subscribers now. Life is good. See you guys next time.